Welcome. This is Crime Queen, and if you're joining us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about love. This is where we ignite that which dwells from within us, that which comes alive, makes us smile. Hence, we say the crimson light is life. So, the crimson light is our journey to actualizing self full love. This is where we have fun with words and numbers. By the way, the word fun is 5 because I have been on this 5 frequency. Okay, and of course, we are laughing and smiling on 22. 22 also helps us to increase the endorphins in our bodies. And of course, it's a lovely vibration to exit out. Exit is also 22. Exit out of our bodies or in, the universe, of course. I just thought I would do the word out. O-U-T. 2, 3, 6. So this is, wow, this is 9, 10, 11. So 11 is to be out. That's interesting. And in is 5. Wow. So 5 and 2. This is the thing about understanding the work of God. He saw things, but I don't think everything was like really 4 and 4 or whatever whole is. I'm sure there is certain reason why it is that way, but this is what we are uncovering. So 5 is in, yes. 12, 13, 14. Now that's the thing. I have been making reference to that the letter I and N, which is 9 and 5, that is the first letter in the King James Bible. It perhaps is in all Bibles. In the beginning. We all know this. In the beginning. So the word in, we could imagine for what is a Bible, which is very, very deep. How deep it is, I'm going to quickly show you. It's B, it's B, it's I, it's L, B-I-B, sorry, B-I-B, it's B, it's I, it's B, and it's L, and it's E. That's the Bible. So you can imagine how profound, how condensed, how deep lies the wisdom of this W Bible, Okay. So, and that is number 2. The B comes on the number 2. This is what I am saying about everything God did. There seemed to be 2. So, I'm just thinking about the Bible. Of course, they have so many different versions, so we can't just say it's 2. But anyway, He gave us, God gave us the power or the free will to multiply, increase, replenish, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it's the word out, in and out. So we see that so Jesus, let's say, came into this world, and this is what I have been saying about the number 2 as well, which is 11. When it comes to like 11, because out really came like 11. You come out into this world and you are on your 2 feet, which is 11. You do all your gypsy journey. In fact, your 2, of course, once you are in 2, you are in agreement. Whether you are consciously in agreement or not, you are in agreement. So 2, you have 2 feet, you have 2 of everything, and you are of your mother and yourself. There's 2. You hang on to 2 breasts, and it's 2 hands cradling you. It's just 2. So we have this, and then we see that Christ is 5. So 2 and 5 equals 7. So, in actual fact, on this equation, it would seem very fair to say, well, yeah, Christ was with God from creation. It would be fair to say that because we see the 7, the number 7, which is saw, to see or to saw, has always is still significant. Now I'm saying that, and my mind is really working around Eve, because Eve is 5, comes from that 14, and just like Christ. But this is the other thing as well, that I was just saying that there we have Adam. Adam is, what is Adam? Apart from a man, let's just see. Adam. This is 4141. Oh, Adam is 10. 5 and 5. Yes, I remember that. So, of course, Adam, it's like there was an emphasis on Adam somehow. And it's showing that from this Adam here, that of course Christ would have come from this Adam, that there was two Adams in here. This is kind of lending this message here. Whereas with Eve, of course, we are told is the mother of all living. Is the mother of all living. So the mother, of course, produces more of her kind. So hence we could say, I would just really say that we all are Eve. Of course, we know that. We all accept that. We all accept that. We all accept that. Okay. But but for 5, okay, so it means that the point I am trying to grasp, how does Eve also have that number 7? Of course, Eve, that would have, of course, if she's the mother of all living, she's not stepping out like Christ did. Oh my. That makes sense. She's the mother of all living, so there is no need to step out of a womb, on being on 2 feet, So this is what I am really saying, that we have not been told the whole story, because Eve is actually, here we know she's in the new, and this new hair is also that showing on the revelation, showing the feet hair. It's like she's the mother of all living. She's the teacher. She teaches us, and she has been with us, showing us how to be in that new, how to open our third eye, because we are 6 as well. So we see how 6 also transpires here. 6 is like Eve and Adam, the seed of, Adam, yes. Yes, because we know that there were 2 Adams, and we are saying there has to be 2 Eves as well. But however, we also know it's the number of man. We also know that the number 6 derives from name. So even from that fact that Adam had named every creature, so name gives a character, name gives a character about something or someone. That's what name denotes. So we see that name is 6. Okay, but I just want to do this to touch up on number 5, because we have done really quite a bit on number 5. In fact, the intention is to introduce or reintroduce or introduce. This is our template, Mother Eve, with her eye open in the middle section where that 5 is, and the 6 column, of course. And we are calling forth intuition, water, revelation, and we are hinging on to sacrifice. Okay, all right. So come forth, we call these these into being because they are transparent. Intuition is transparent. So is water and so is revelation. Revelation reveals. So we have found out quite a lot from the number 5. The number 5, even with the word open, the word lock, the word key, the word breathe. Breathe tells it all. Breathe tells it all. So, of course, breathe derives from breathed or breathed, whichever, and breathed is 9. So we will be doing that separately. But we have been exploring eat. We see, as I have said before, this is the crucial element of both Eve and Christ. It's all about food and drink. It's all about the mouth. The word mouth is 5. And this is what we learn, that God spoke into things. He spoke things into being. Let there be light. And this is what, in fact, it'd be nice for us to say, let there be light right now. Into what we are saying here, into what we are endeavoring to uncover. Let there be light. And light is 2. So light is also 11, and we see that Jesus is also 11. Now there's that thing about Lucifer as well, but being the bearer of light. But let's just try and concentrate on this subject, because Christ said to us, "Ye are the light of the world." And we are to shine our light. There are so many parables about the virgins and their lamps, And so these are the messages that are there for us about shining our light, because we are the light of the world. So, world is also 9, and light is 11. So we can see there's a relation in numerology is offering us solutions or answers. Okay. So we see power and Easter and chamber, and the mouth is the chamber as well. It's got chamber, and so on. So what I wanted to just, I want to keep this one short, and I will. We see even when, we see that the word I it equals 8. We see that the word 8 equals 8, as in Eve ate the fruit, which is 2. Oh, but that's the thing I was trying to work out as well. I just made mention of this, that there had to be a 2 transpiring with Eve, just as there is 2 with Jesus having been the light. Of course, but the word fruit is 2. It's 11. Is it 2 or 11? Let's just see. However, that's really interesting. That's really wonderful. That's why we're calling on the light, fruit. Let's see where we're going to put this. Oh, I'll do it on the back. Okay, so this is 5. Okay. So fruit, F-R-U-I-T, that's 29396. So that's 15, 18, 19, 20, 29. So that is 11. Right. So this is wonderful. I love to be able to see the parallels. So we have the word Jesus. Jesus came in, and they named him Jesus, and he was 11. 11. We've done the numerical value. So I'm just leaving it there so you can see. So of course, when Christ, because we have Jesus, but Christ, okay, the Christ Spirit comes to 5. So it's CHRIST, this comes to 5. 5 and 2 equals 7. Okay, now we have the name Eve. I love this. Eve comes to is 14, 1 and 4 equals 5. Eve ate of the fruit. The fruit is 11. Fruit is 11. 11 and 5 is 16, or 2 and is 7. That equals 7. So we see here, this is what I have been talking about with the number 14 that derives. Here we see that, and I have made mention of this in the other presentation, is that 14, because God he saw things, or Eve in that case saw that the fruit. So it's also denoting as if Eve had a certain power as well, of course. She did, because the word power is 5, and she was in the position of power. Yes, yes. Nothing can come into your consciousness unless it finds something like itself on which to attach itself to. And so there is a truth within me right now revealing that truth. And it didn't just come out of nowhere. Because I have all these 5s within me. I come from a family of 14 children, and I am the 5th child, and I have 3 5s in my date of birth. And so there is something about that story that is resonating within that Eve aspect in me to be able to understand that. So Eve equals 14. And then here we have how this 14 is really transpiring here. So Eve ate the fruit, Eve and fruit. This is what we know, Eve and fruit. And that equals 7. And then we know Jesus Christ. And that equals 7 too. 7 and 7, 14. But we are told that she is the mother of all living. That means she is the mother of Christ. Yes. I can imagine people getting a real shock with this presentation and thinking, no, but it's there in the numbers. It's right here. So just to go over it in case you have not got it yet, we learn about the early days of Jesus, and they said, he shall be called Emmanuel. We have covered this. His coming was to teach us the manual. That's it. Then to teach us the manual, he emphasizes the word believe and faith. If you believe with all of your heart, believe. But in the middle of that word believe, of all words, constitutes a lie. It's like perhaps telling us, or pointing our attention to examine that word believe. If you are going to believe something, you better examine what it is you are believing. For it to work for you, you need to understand what it is that you believe. And we see as well that everything is like in 3 segments, 369, 369. But the word believe also constitutes of 7 words, which is reflective of both Christ and Eve. All the numbers are adding up. Now, in case you haven't really got it yet, because it's just coming intuitively for me too, and so I can understand this learning that we have here is perhaps not as easy to digest as we would imagine. But if this is really showing that Christ, or Eve, is the mother of Christ, as the mother was our mother as well, then that is saying Eve would have had to be with God from creation, from before Adam. And this Eve we are learning about here would perhaps be the second Eve, which is transpiring here beautifully. It's the same way we see in Adam in Adam is 1 4 1 4, meaning you could add 1 and 4 5, 1 and 4 5, which would denote that in that Adam there were two Christs. Oh my, isn't that delicious? Isn't that delicious? I've got to do this. I've got to do this. So Adam, if we do it this way, we can do, so it's 1 4 1 4. It gives us the pattern, because everything is really here. Our concern is about the pattern. It's about the template, the waves, the energy. That's what happens here. So 1 4 is 5. 1 and 4. Oh, 1 and 4 is 5. So there we are told, and we learn this, and it makes sense. So Christ is the second Adam. And there's the first Adam. So Adam in Adam. Of course, when we add 1 and 1 and 5 and 5 together, becomes 10. Of course, 10 here equals man. That is 4 1 5. So 4 and 5 and 1 6 and 4 10. We see that here. So that is man. It'd be interesting to do woman and see what happens. Yes, we need to look at. Okay, so I like the doubles. We can see where the W's and the M's and the threes, because that's what multiplies. That's what births. This is what it is. The W is what births. The M, McDonald's. So this is 5, 6, 4, 1, and 5. So this is 10, and this is 11. So that means that's 21. 2 and 1 is 3. So that 3 now still takes us, this 3 here is what entails, 3 is what goes into, and we can see everything is ties into it. This is the 3 that forms that B, and the 1 of Adam forms the 1 here. So we see this 1 and 3 equals 4. That is the 13 at the table. Wow. I've got to master this presentation because this is so delicious. So delicious. So we see this is where the M has been tampered with, you could say. This is the W, because that's what women do as well. You could see the reflection, we are detailed, we move, we've got flair, we flow, and that's, so here we see with that 3 and that 1 becomes 4. 3 and 1 becomes 4. It's the 4 that was presence equaling presence, 4 equaling father, 4 equaling the way, W-A-Y, 4 equaling west. 4 is the 4 elements that we earth, fire, air, water. It all ties in beautifully. So it would make sense for us to really say, yes, there was Mother Eve, and there was the other Eve. Likewise, there was the 2 Adams. So Adam, Christ deriving from Adam. Wonderful, wonderful. So I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it, clear, and I'll, of course, try and see how I can present this into the other presentations too, because it's really getting a foundation. It's building our foundation here. It's really getting a sense of saying, well, now we don't have to be angry about Eve, because Mother Eve is like, she has been with us from creation. She has a say. She has been. She is powerful. She is in a position of power, just like Christ has been. And God is eight here. God is eight. God is infinitely eight. Okay, and so we see God is the I. The I. Hence they say the windows, your eyes are the windows to the soul. Oh, just reminds me, soul. I'm just saying SOUL. That's 3, 3, 6, that's 12, and 1, 13. Wow. Now that's interesting. We have just done 13. Let's take this off the screen. We have just done 3 for woman, 1 for man. When we add 1 and 3 together, we get the B, or we get 4, or we get 13. So basically, on face value, so this is the soul. So the soul is represented by the number 4, by the Father, by the West. Wow, this is awesome. Awesome. Wow. So woman is 3. Now, this is the other thing that goes back into when Christ said something like, before I was, in fact, there's a song to this as well, but I was a worm, or a mere worm. It's an acknowledgement that he is of Eve. Isn't that delicious? Isn't that really what we want to know? Because we have been like, oh, well, he is Father, he is Son. And, there is so much going on about Father or Son. We don't know if he's our Father. We don't know if he's brother. And, of course, it brings the question of incest to mind. Well, but which, of course, in our world, this is how we have those order. We have an order of which we make sense of our world, whether it's in the spiritual or in the physical. So if we are being confused about whether Christ is our brother or whether he's our Father, which of course a brother can take on a father role, of course, because he knows a certain root, and yes, he's the eldest brother, yes, he takes on that role. So we can understand that. But isn't it wonderful when we get the essence of the story in numbers, in the numbers? So this is what we see, that Adam, 5 and 5 being 1, 10, so, and woman together forms that 13, the 13 at the table. So everything Christ did was in the name of his mother. Okay, he said, Father, if that cup, of course, because it's 1 and 4, so he called on Father. He called on Father. Calling on Father, calling on Mother is the same difference here. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. This is beautiful. Okay, well, of course, it was intended to be a short presentation, but, we are here and it's about learning. I hope we have, I just love it when I go with that intuitive impulse, to like I thought, okay, let's just do Adam or let's just do woman and go along with it and see what happens. It's just the whole thing has just tied in beautifully, really beautifully. Yes, we see. So the fruit is 11, just like Jesus is 11. So Eve is 11. And just as Christ is 5 and Eve is 5, we see that they both add up to 7. 7. But because Eve is the mother of all living, we see that the number 14 derives in her name. The number 14 constitute her name, and we see how the name is divided into 2 sevens. 7 and 7 is 14, but 1 and 4 is 5. And this is the number that really has come in the Bible with the first word, meaning 2 words, 2 letters, in, I and N. I and N has formed these 2 letters to say in the beginning. That is really interesting. And of course, there's the other thing I have just noticed as well. Because if we were to add, of course, we have 7 here, but I am just seeing 7 and 2, which is Jesus. Of course, this equals the 7, but I'm trying to work out, of course, apart from the 5, we have 5 for the N in the word in the Bible, but we want to get the word, the numerical value, which is 9, and where it transpires here. So it really shows up, 9 really shows up in the word Christ, in I. It does that, and it's about the only place too. No, but oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. I've just spotted it. Yes. So, in I, we have I here in the word Christ to reflect 9, but we also have I here in fruit to reflect Eve. Yes. I love it. So there are 2 eyes here, just like in sacrifice. Just like in the word sacrifice has 2 eyes. So there we are, 2 eyes, and like in the word intuition. And this is what I've called upon, intuition, to help us. So in the word, I love it. I love it. I know this is a long presentation, but it's a must watch. Yes. So here we are. Yes. 2 eyes in sacrifice. Meaning, so that word sacrifice is also done on behalf of mother, of the fruit, and of Christ. That's what Christ said. Ye are the, did he say you are the fruits? Or we are the fruit and he's the vine. Yes, I think it's the fruit and he's the vine. And in those 2 words too would also have I, the letter I. Okay, wonderful. I love it. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it fun and enlightening. And yes, let us embrace Mother Eve, because the essence of all this, which I have learned through my own personal journey, is that I had to revisit my relationship with my mother, my parents, my siblings. I had to like we are doing with Eve and Christ. Wow. I had to do that to get a sense of self. a sense of self-acceptance, a sense of self-realization. That's what I had to embark on the Crimson Light, and that's what has served as a bridge to actualizing self-full love. It's the experiences that I have revisited that has now served as that bridge. And now, of course, I understand that it is essential for us to also revisit the story of Christ, our sibling, of Eve, our mother, and God, our father. Yes, and our sister. Yes, well, Christ did say that we are the church, so he's seeing us as the sister. We are the sister, we are the daughter. And so he is the son, we are the daughter, and our parents. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Thank you for watching. I hope you have found this very very enlightening, and I hope you have found it fun. Okay, if you like this presentation, click the like button and share and subscribe and leave your comments, because that's how we grow, and that's we grow because we want to know, and that's why we are now being a field that we can plant new seeds. These are new seeds, these are refreshments, and we are nurturing our minds, our body, and our spirit, of course, because we want to move over to the right, the beginning and the end. The beginning is 5, and no, the beginning is 9. Yes, and 5 is the end. And that's what God said. So we see the beginning and the end is in the first 2 letters of the alphabet, of the first 2 letters of the word in the Bible. That Bible is such a wonderful book. So it's perhaps saying this is where we can do our jazz. Of course, agreements that we do here has very profound impact on us, but we go with luck, and we go through that developmental stage. We get into that new. The new is where we become aware. Our eyes are open. That's what matters. That's the new. It's like you're innocent and ignorant to a certain extent from 1 to 4. But it's not to say that you take things for granted. There is something that happens there. We may have to revisit, which is what we are doing. But my, isn't this delicious? I am thanking you. I am really thanking you for your time, because I acknowledge this is a lengthy presentation, but I am hoping that you will find this very beneficial. I'm hoping that you will find it enlightening. So do join us again. Okay, so in the meantime, be blissful, be bright, be filled, and let us nourish our minds, body, and spirit. Yes, and stay ignited. Namaste. And spill over with love.